Hello boys and girls and Stingray parents. Today we are going to look at prime numbers, composite numbers, and factors. These basics are very important for us as we progress through algebra, and not only algebra, but even more so, just dealing with fractions properly. If we want to add and subtract them, we need to understand the relationship between these foundational numbers, primes, composites, and factors. Let's begin. Boys and girls, let's kick off Unit 4 by looking at composite, prime, and factors. These are all very important numbers. Starting with composite, let's just give a brief definition. A composite number is a number that has more than two factors. Okay? And we'll talk in a bit. Say, well, what's factors? We'll get to factors, don't worry. Prime numbers. Prime numbers are numbers that only have two factors, 1 and itself. And I'm going to say right now, when we deal with composite and prime numbers, there's two very special numbers, 1 and 0. These two numbers are neither composite nor prime. They're very special. And then last but not least, what are factors? Factors are simply any numbers that when they're multiplied together, you get another number. So basically, almost all numbers would fit into that category. In fact, all numbers are, except for, once again, 0. I think 0 is an outlier. But any number, okay, that when you multiply, you get a product. Okay, let's start with composite. Let's go back to red. We're going to take a look. Let's take the number 12. Okay, there's a couple different ways we can represent 12. Okay, we can represent it as a very long number. No, actually let's do it like this. And then we'll divide this into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, what we have here is a 12 by 1 strip. Okay, that's one dimension of 12. We could also, though, represent it in this way. Some of you already know what I'm doing. This is a 6 by 2, okay, or 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, that's another dimension, okay, or another pairing of factors to create 12. And yet we're not done. There's actually another dimension. I can do this to it. And you've already guessed it. This is a 3 by 4 representation of the number 12. Okay, see, number 12 is a composite number because it has more than just two factors. One in itself. It definitely has one in itself. It can be 1 times 12. It could also be 2 times 6. And it can also be 3 times 4. Okay? We can clear 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4. They are all factors of the number 12. So 12 is a composite number. Now let's take a look at some numbers that aren't prime. For example, 2. Okay? Now 2 can really only be represented this way. It's 2 by 1 or 1 by, whoops, what did I do to it? Sorry about that. It's a 2 by 1 or 1 by 2 representation, okay, which they're really the same thing. See, 2 is a prime number because its only factors are 1 and itself. There's no other factors for the number 2. And 3 is the same thing. 3 can only be represented as 1 times 3. What about 4? Well, 4 I can represent as 1 times 4 as well as 3 as well as 2 times 2. So 4 is not prime. In fact, the only prime even number is 2. All other even numbers are going to be composite. Well, let's go to 5. 5 can only be represented as 1 times 5 or 5 times 1. It only has 2 factors. 6 is an even number, so it's composite. 7, here we go again. Guess what? It's prime too, 1 times 7. Now some of you might see a pattern, and some of you might jump to the conclusion that all odd numbers are prime. But I'd say be careful, because when we get to number 9, guess what? 9 can be represented as 1 times 9 as well as 3 times 3. Not all odd numbers are prime. In fact, 9 is a great example of a composite number. It has more than 2 factors, 1 in itself. It also has 3. It has 3 factors, 1, 9, and 3. So we've thrown the word factors around. I don't think I really need to go into any more specific explanation for what a factor is. Any number can be a factor, but factors are when you take 2 or more numbers and you multiply them together to get another number or a product. And this is a pretty good foundation for what composite, prime, and factor. Okay, composite numbers can be written as a mathematical expression or product, and you have more than 2 factors. Where prime numbers, the only number you can factor out of itself is 1 and itself. It only has 2 factors. Well, that's a good start. We'll continue from there. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.